Richard Fowler. I'm John Kilpatrick with Oklahoma Aikido, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. And last time we started off looking at the lead for Sankyo. And today I want to look at some different ways of throwing Sankyo. And you have your knife?
Yes, sir.
Look at some different ways of throwing Sankyo. And so what we're going to do, and I want to show you how this is normally done first. And so what normally happens is that you're starting here, you come in, come under, and at this point they normally crank the wrist. The idea here, I'm sure, is to break the wrist. And you're holding the fingers, which it's really hard to get the fingers if you're not practicing from a grab. So I'm assuming they practice from a grab, and we practice from grabs a little bit, but not very much. When you do this, normally Uki runs around in circles around you to take the pressure off. If Uki comes right into you, that also takes the pressure off, and Uki can really hurt you. So if you're going to do it this way, I like what the Tenshin people do, and that is they stand on this foot. And that way you can't run at me and counter and have an easy counter to this. It will hurt me a whole lot more than you're hurting him. So this is something that's normally done. Now, my feeling about doing any of these throws is that I want it to actually, so what's happening with them, see, they're coming here and you stop your throw and you've got this, and now you come here and yank the guy to the floor or something. And to me, that is totally lacking in elegance. And I like the way judo people do, where they have a smooth, or used to do. I mean, judo's changed. Since I did judo, it's changed so much it's unrecognizable to me. I would never know it was judo. But back when we did it, you wanted a really smooth movement. So when you came in for your throw, you're keeping a constant pressure here, and it's smooth all the way through the throw. And that, doing old style judo, that was what was required to make the throws work. If you didn't do that, the guy would be able to counter your throw. And in those days, these beautiful clean throws that looked totally effortless was what you had to do to get a ippon from one throw. So now the way we'll do these throws, and we usually practice with a knife, and we'll be knife taking in just a minute, but anyway, that's why we normally practice, so that's the way we'll do this. So when he comes in here, let's back up some. Yeah, that's about right. So when he comes in, see, and there's that throw. And so that's really smooth. I keep a constant pressure on it. Now I'm being really nice to him, of course, because we take good care of ourselves. We don't want injuries in here. But one thing about this that I like I said, your normal way of doing this, you're stopping here and then you're stepping out here and grabbing this and pulling him to the mat. Well, today here it's quite warm. We're sweaty. It's hard to get a good grip on him. He's a lot bigger and stronger than I am. That would really be hard to do. But the way I'm doing this is I'm coming here and I can push his arm. I'm taking this basically down. But if I don't have quite enough forward momentum for him to fall, then I can push him a little and help, and I'm not having to use any strength anywhere in this throw. And also, if we do this with speed, which we don't normally do because we don't want to get hurt, but you throw, this is a very hard throw. So it's plenty sufficient. So that's our basic throw, where we throw it to the front. Now we throw this same throw, and the setup is the same, and we went through the setup a lot last time with the leading. So another way of doing this, if I've come in here to do a Sankyo, there was probably a reason. Maybe there was somebody over here, or the wall is over there. I came here for some reason, I may not want to go over there. So a method that we like is to bring this over my head. Now when I do this, I don't step in front of him. I don't come in here where he can get me around the neck, and then I'm in a lot of trouble. Maybe not, you'd say, well, this is how you get out of chokes. And maybe that works, but I'd rather not find out the hard way. So I'm here, and then we throw this back here the same way. And then the third way is to do this as a Tenkan. And so if we're doing Tenkan, then I'm coming here, and I go behind him here and bring this around me and down. So those are three ways of doing this as a regular. Well, it's not regular, obviously, because I'm not doing what people usually do. But it's the way we would normally throw it if we're doing it as a Sankyo. Now, as I've said before, the easiest thing to do is just a structure break. And so if I'm doing a structure break here, you know, I'm just coming in, dropping all this, and he just goes straight to the floor. It's very fast. It's very simple. That doesn't necessarily mean easy. You have to do it correctly. But it's much easier to do than a Sankyo. If I'm doing a Sankyo, I have to get him up, and in a Aikido class, the way that's usually conceptualized is that you're just coming up in front of him, and they say you're doing it so he can't hit you with that other hand. So this protects me. The way we're practicing it right now is that we're doing this as a lead. So we're pushing his head back a little. We're leading we're coming up his face and touching his forehead to stop to get him to come up like this. And at the same time, we're lifting this hand, and then in this case, we're taking the knife. Now, the way that's done, now we do this when he's holding a knife where the blade is coming from his thumb side. If it's the other side, we do a different technique. But, so to take this, I'm grabbing the fleshy part of his hand here, and I do that as I come in. So this isn't the easiest thing in the world to do. But so as he's coming, I'm leading and pushing back. Then as I come up here, I take the knife with my other hand. And the way I'm doing that, and this tends to be kind of confusing. So it's like I'm holding it between my hands. My thumbs are together, or almost touching. So I'm like this, and my thumb is over here, but my thumbs are over his thumb. And so this, to get this is away from me here. So this is nearly a right angle, and my hand will come in here. Now, I'm taking the knife as I raise my hand. And I'm taking his hand away from the knife, not the knife away from his hand. So as this comes over, I pull the hand away and I end up with the knife. If we look at that from the other side, so he's here, and then this is coming up. My hand brushes over his fingers, and then I'm coming up with the knife here. And what we do, which I don't know how much you normally do this in Aikido classes, let's turn back around. But in Aikido, when you're using a tanto, we have Moonski and Shominski. And the way I was taught this, Moonski goes into the solar plexus area and goes up underneath the sternum into his heart, and then you're making a mess in there in his heart and lungs. And Shominski, the guy is wearing the men, which is the helmet, and so the knife is sliding up his sternum, up into his throat, and up into his head. So, and then, you know, it's this kind of movement, so you're dropping the guy off of the knife. So that's the way I was taught it in Aikido. And so when we do this, we're coming here. I'm coming, taking this, take the hand away, and then practice this targeting. And this is not easy because when you're doing this, your back is to the guy. So when you get the knife, you're not facing him. So you're coming toward him, and you really don't get to see the target until you're almost on it. And so then we want to practice a throw here. So we just practice this target, which kind of breaks up the flow, but it saves our partner. And then we come over this and do a Tenshin. So I take this hand behind him, this over his shoulder, I step well behind him and do the throw. So that's one way of practicing this. Another way of practicing this is basically the same, except we do it Tenshin. So he's stabbing, and same thing, I take this, and then I bring this around this way and throw it, and we don't have much room there. There we go. And throw it as a Tenshin. And again, if he's attacking and I came to this side, then I was had a reason. I probably came to this side. So what I'm going to do, I didn't want to be over there. So I'm going to stay over here. Bring this over my head, take this, and stab. Now from here, it's not real easy to get back into my normal Tenshin throw, and besides, didn't want to be over there. There's somebody over there or something over there I don't like, and so then I just do a simple structure break and take him down right there. So those are movements that we like that flow extremely well with Sankyo. And like I said, really for us normally in practice, the only reason we would do Sankyo is to get the knife. Sometimes you just fall into a technique, but it's much easier to just do your basic structure breaks than to do these techniques that were really designed for breaking people's joints. And we practice that a little bit, but to me, what's really important is to learn how to break the person's structure. And usually, my experience is, and particularly with these guys, both of them are a lot bigger and stronger than I am, it's really, they can overpower me trying to do most joint breaks and things if I don't break their structure first. So I feel like learning to break structure is, you know, you get in Aikido and you spend your whole career practicing breaking joints, essentially, from somebody grabbing your wrist. At least that's the way it was in the clubs I've been in. And to me, I would love rather spend my career learning how to break structure rather than breaking joints. And then I get where I just have these really smooth, elegant throws that are extremely effective.